So where do you begin? Well, we could begin at the true beginning. And that is the fact when we're talking about storytelling, content, marketing. The true beginning is the fact that humans have been telling stories for thousands of years, since the beginning of our recollection, of our history, of our coming into being, even as a species. According to some and according to us, it's one of the qualities that make us human in the first place. And if you've read Yuval Noah Harari's Sapiens or even Homo Deus, Yuval Noah Harari being one of the, well, foremost and definitely most influential historians and definitely thinkers of our times, according to him, our storytelling capability as human beings, as a human species, is a defining quality for us. And it's also a defining quality for our evolution and our growth to being the relatively dominant species that we are on this planet today. And that's a really important point to remember. Storytelling is one of the qualities that make us human in the first place, and it's one of the qualities that has helped us to evolve to the point where we are now. It can also help us evolve to the next phase of our evolution, and the question to us is, what do we want that process to look like? So, from the beginning of time, humans have been telling stories. Marketers have ran with that and started creating content. And we can say that marketers started creating content before or after 1996, but the fun part is that in 1996, at a banquet or buffet or some seminar of journalists, the phrase creating content or marketing content was actually coined. So that's why we say since 1996, we've been creating content. And as a result of that, we're now all swimming in it. So if content is already flooding the internet, and it definitely is, right? Then it's also frustrating creators and marketers because there's never enough content. And the content we do produce is never effective enough. How do we get our stuff seen by enough of the right people? And we know this. We know this from our own personal experience. We know this from talking to marketing colleagues of ours, people in our networks. And we know this from a lot of research that's been going on and on the last few years, showing again and again that not having enough quality content is one of the top priorities, top problems of marketers in this day and age. So add to that now that AI can now write stories and create content almost as good as, but much faster than human beings. And when we say almost as good as, I'm not even sure that that's the case right now, because with GPT-4, what you see right now, and I saw a clip the other day of Jordan Peterson, another fairly prominent thinker in our day and age, saying that what GPT 3.5 or 3 was already doing actually is creating content, creating copy at a level that a lot of grad students, university students would find difficult to match that quality. And with GPT-4 now, what we're seeing is it's passing the bar exam in the US at a really, really high rate. So it's getting really smart in the sense that it can write really, really well. Almost as good as, or we might even say as good as, and sometimes better than human beings, even trained human beings. So that's an interesting development. According to Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, generative AI, as a consequence, will likely cause the loss of potentially millions of jobs. However, it will also create potentially millions of new jobs. So that's also really interesting. What we're talking about is definitely a tidal shift in the times that we're living in, and it's gonna have even far greater consequences for the reality of our life as people in business, in society, and specifically in marketing. And it's up to us to figure out what we want to do with that and how we're going to work with that. Now, quick question to you guys once again. If you're live with us, please drop your answer in the chat. If you're watching this recorded version of the session, please take a minute to ponder these questions and maybe write down your answer just for fun's sake, right? So, what do you expect? In the near future, how much of online content will be created by AI, according to you? Is that A, you think that up to 30% of online content will be created by AI in the near future? Is that B, you expect 55%, so a little bit more than half of online content to be created by AI? Or option C, do you even expect that upwards of 90% of online content will be created by and or with the help of AI? Take a second to ponder that question, and let's go look at what the projections are. And the projections are, according to experts interviewed by journalist Nina Schick for her book Deepfakes: The Coming Infopocalypse, is that an estimate of 90% of content may be produced by AI as soon as the year 2026. Now that's staggering to me. Although, if you realize that the estimate for 2022 was already that 30% of content online was created by or with the help of AI, and that 40 or so percent of American marketers self-reported to already have played around and worked with AI content creation. So imagine that in 2022, with an estimated 30% of online content being generated by or with the help of AI. That means if there were approximately 1.88 billion websites online, that means that about 600 million websites, or the equivalent of 600 million websites, have been created by or with the help of AI as soon as the year that we've already passed. I think that's amazing. I would like to hear from you guys how you feel about that. If you'd like, you could add that in the chat. So with that tidal wave of content created in the market and created with AI, so it's a growing tidal wave. How will you stand out from the noise? As we said, this is the main question that we're trying to answer today. And this is our answer. And if we summarize it, it's you're going to make the difference with human authenticity, ethically used, and intelligently combined with tech. Now, what does that mean? When we talk about human authenticity in this context, what we mean is that as a consequence of the, you could say, onslaught of more and more content, more and more marketing messaging being shot out into the culture, into the internet, people being inundated with content, what we see, and we see this in trend research, is that humans, people, us, we are continuously looking for more truth, real purpose, real connection, authentic knowledge, understanding, and real value. And we see this in the same research that tells us that currently we see that employee advocacy or team storytelling can increase your reach on social media by 561%. And if you follow the link in the slide deck that will be provided to you after this masterclass, you can actually read about the research that is showing that, which it also shows that organic reach from company profiles has been dropping over the last few years and is expected to continue to do so for a while. So what that shows is that truly humans will continue to seek out human authenticity, human connection, preferably from other humans and preferably ones they know. What do we mean by ethics and why is it important? From the same research that basically shows that people are looking for more purpose, more truth, and true human connection, we can also see that both consumers and potential employees or business partners are increasingly looking for ethical businesses to partner with, to work with, or to buy from. So what we see is that the zeitgeist is changing, and people are finding it more and more important that you have a purpose as a business or as a personal brand, that you stand for something, and that the way you do what you do is aligned with that purpose, and that you also take responsibility. So take responsibility socially, take responsibility environmentally, and take responsibility in the way that you actually use tech to advance your business goals and do your marketing. So Gartner, for instance, is projecting that by 2025, 70% of enterprise CMOs will identify accountability for ethical AI in marketing among their top concerns. Finally, we want human connection, human authenticity, and ethics intelligently combined with tech. So what do we mean by that? We mean to say is that be smart and figure out what do humans do best, what can you do best, and what can the technology do best, and combine it in a smart and effective way. Because that's where you create the magic. And we'll get into that a lot more in the course of this presentation, and you'll see exactly what we mean.